Have you ever gotten a compliment that didn't feel like a compliment? Or noticed someone close to you subtly undermining your success while pretending to support you? What if I told you their jealousy isn't really about you? It's about the parts of themselves they've buried deep down. And according to legendary psychologist Carl Jung, this hidden envy reveals one of the most fascinating truths about human nature. We've all experienced it. Those strange, uncomfortable moments when someone's words don't match their energy. They smile, but their eyes don't. They say, "I'm happy for you," but something feels off. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, uncovered why this happens. He discovered that people often resent others who embody what they've denied in themselves, whether it's confidence, creativity, or ambition. In this video, we'll break down Jung's most powerful concepts, the shadow self, projection, and the pain of unlived potential, to explain why some people can't help but envy you, even if they'll never admit it. Carl Jung believed that each of us carries a hidden side, a shadow self, made up of the traits, desires, and impulses we suppress because society, family, or our own fears deem them unacceptable. These could be anything from raw ambition to vulnerability, from creativity to assertiveness. We disown these parts not because they're bad, but because they clash with the image we want to present to the world. Yet, the shadow doesn't disappear. It lingers in the unconscious, influencing our emotions, reactions, and even our perceptions of others. This is where jealousy creeps in. When someone encounters a person who openly embodies what they've repressed, whether it's confidence, independence, or unapologetic success, it creates a psychological friction. Their unconscious recognizes that quality, but because they've denied it in themselves, they can't engage with it honestly. Instead, it triggers resentment. For example, a co-worker who once dreamed of starting their own business but settled for security might feel a sting of bitterness when they see you taking bold career risks. Your ambition acts like a mirror, forcing them to confront the path they didn't take. The shadow doesn't just hide our dark traits. It also holds our untapped potential. That's why envy often flares up around people who seem freer, more authentic, or more self-assured. Their very presence exposes a gap between who we are and who we could have been. And because facing that truth is painful, many people default to denial, gossip, or subtle sabotage. Anything to avoid admitting, even to themselves, that what they feel isn't dislike. It's envy for the life they didn't dare to live. One of Jung's most profound insights was the concept of projection, the unconscious act of attributing our own disowned qualities onto someone else. When people haven't come to terms with their own suppressed desires, fears, or shortcomings, they often project them outward, assigning those traits to others instead. This is why jealousy is rarely about you. It's about the unresolved conflicts in their psyche. Your life becomes a screen onto which they cast their own regrets, insecurities, and unlived potential. Take someone who secretly yearns for freedom, but feels trapped by obligation. When they see you living with independence, traveling solo, setting firm boundaries, or leaving a conventional path, they might react with dismissive remarks like, "You're so selfish," or "must be nice to not care what anyone thinks." But what they're really expressing is their own frustration with the choices that keep them confined. Similarly, a person who avoids risks due to fear might mock your bold moves as reckless or naive. Their criticism isn't about your judgment. It's a defense mechanism, a way to justify their own hesitation without admitting they're afraid. Projection distorts reality, turning admiration into resentment. The qualities they claim to dislike in you are often the ones they secretly wish they had. That's why the most cutting envy often comes from those closest to us, friends, family, or colleagues whose lives mirror our own possibilities. Their discomfort isn't a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's evidence that you're doing something right, living in a way that exposes the gap between their reality and their potential. And until they face their own shadows, they'll continue to mistake their inner conflict for your flaw. Jung observed that few psychological forces are as unsettling to others as authenticity, the courage to live in alignment with your true nature. When you refuse to hide your quirks, passions, or unconventional choices, you become a living mirror for those still trapped in self-denial. Your self-awareness reflects back what they've buried, their own stifled desires, abandoned dreams, or the masks they wear to fit in. This is why confident individuality often provokes such intense reactions. It doesn't just challenge social norms. It forces people to confront the uncomfortable question, If they can live this way, why can't I? This tension is amplified by what Jung called collective conformity, the invisible pressure to dilute one's uniqueness for the sake of belonging. Society often rewards mediocrity because it's predictable, non-threatening, and easily controlled. Those who color inside the lines are praised as team players, while free thinkers are labeled disruptive or arrogant. When you resist this conditioning, by speaking your mind, pursuing unconventional goals, or simply refusing to apologize for who you are, you expose the unspoken bargain others have made, trading authenticity for approval. Their envy isn't just about your traits. It's about the subconscious realization that they, too, could have chosen differently. The backlash against authenticity follows a predictable pattern. First, dismissal. You're just trying to be special. Then mockery. Wait and see, they'll fail. And finally, if you persist, begrudging respect. But the transition from resentment to admiration requires others to do their own shadow work, to face what they've suppressed. Until then, your very existence becomes a silent indictment of their compromises. This explains why pioneers in any field face such fierce resistance early on, and why those who dare be themselves often walk a lonely path, at least until their courage inspires others to awaken. Jealousy rarely announces itself outright. It slithers through the cracks of everyday interactions in ways that leave you questioning your instincts. According to Jungian psychology, when people harbor unconscious envy, their shadow reveals itself through subtle yet revealing behaviors. One of the most telling is a backhanded compliment, statements that masquerade as praise but carry a hidden sting. You're so brave for dressing like that at your age. Or, it's amazing how confident you are even without X achievement. Aren't genuine admiration. They're ego games, attempt to simultaneously acknowledge and diminish your light. Another red flag is mimicry paired with undermining. They'll copy your style, ideas, or habits while subtly devaluing them. This paradoxical behavior stems from their inner conflict. They're drawn to what you embody, hence the imitation, but resent that you possess what they lack, hence the sabotage. You might notice them adopting your catchphrases, then joking about how overused they are, or replicating your career move while calling it a phase. Then there's the classic passive-aggressive remark, often disguised as humor or concern. Must be nice to have time for your passion. Some of us have real responsibilities. Or, I'd never post that online, but I guess you don't care what people think. These jabs allow them to express resentment without accountability. Even more telling is exaggerated indifference to dismissive who cares, or anyway, when you share achievements. This faux nonchalance is a defense mechanism. By pretending your success means nothing, they avoid confronting what its existence stirs in them. These behaviors share a common root: the inability to celebrate you without diminishing themselves. Where healthy admiration seeks to learn and grow from another's light, jealousy must dim that light to feel comfortable. Recognizing these signs isn't about paranoia. It's about understanding human nature well enough to discern when someone's reaction says everything about their unresolved shadows and nothing about your worth. When faced with others' envy, the most instinctive reaction, dimming your light to make them comfortable, is also the most destructive. Jung would argue that shrinking yourself serves no one. It robs the world of your authenticity while enabling others to avoid their necessary shadow work. Their discomfort isn't yours to manage. Every time you suppress a talent, soften success, or apologize for your uniqueness to placate envy, you betray your own individuation. Jung's term for the lifelong process of becoming who you truly are. The jealous person's growth begins precisely where your compromise ends, at the point where they must face the discomfort your existence triggers in them. That said, compassion is the antidote to resentment. Recognize that envy is a form of unexpressed grief. It signals where someone has abandoned parts of themselves. When a friend downplays your achievement or a colleague mimics, then mocks you, they're not just reacting to you. They're mourning the version of themselves they neglected or silenced. This doesn't excuse their behavior, but it reframes it. Their jealousy is a distorted echo of their own potential. Holding this perspective allows you to set boundaries without bitterness, to protect your energy without absorbing their pain as your own. Ultimately, the Jungian path forward is radical self-focus. Channel the energy you might waste decoding others' jealousy into your own individuation. The work of aligning with your deepest values, integrating your shadows, and expressing your full potential. The more grounded you become in your own purpose, the less others' reactions will derail you. Envy thrives in ambiguity. When you're unshakably clear about who you are and why you're here, the opinions of those who resent your light will simply become irrelevant. Let their jealousy be their teacher, not your distraction. Your only responsibility is to keep becoming boldly, unapologetically, more yourself. What if I told you that every backhanded compliment, every passive-aggressive dig, every moment you felt someone's resentment simmering beneath their smile, none of it was ever really about you? As we've seen through Jung's eyes, jealousy is a mirror reflecting the other person's psyche, not your worth. Their envy reveals where they've abandoned themselves, where they've traded authenticity for approval, or where they've yet to confront their own potential. That uncomfortable tension you sense, it's the gap between who they are and who they sense you dare to become. This is why the most powerful response isn't defense or retaliation. It's understanding. When you recognize jealousy as someone else's unconscious struggle, you free yourself from the need to explain, justify, or shrink. You're no longer trapped in their drama. You become an observer of human nature, armed with the most liberating truth. Other people's reactions often say everything about them and nothing about you. Now I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed these patterns in your life? Maybe you spotted the signs of projection in a relationship. Or perhaps you recognize times when your own shadow might have colored your view of others. Share your experiences in the comments below. These conversations are where real growth happens. And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We're just scratching the surface of Jung's wisdom, and I'll be sharing more insights to help you navigate the hidden layers of psychology, relationships, and self-discovery. Remember, the world doesn't need more people playing small to make others comfortable. What it needs is your full, unedited self, shadow, light, and everything in between. Until next time, keep exploring the depths.